Welcome to Brothers and Booze. There's no way in hell I'll ever be able to do that.
You and me both. I think I might have fallen over when I ran across the street. That's where I would probably fail.
Right. Since we have an athlete on tonight, I figured we'd
him running up the wall. Nope, I'd have right into the wall.
No.
Yeah, the amount of upper body strength you have to do that kind of shit is nuts.
Is insane. But it doesn't even look like, he's not that big of, he's not like strapping. He's just.
Maybe he's got that wiry strength.
Well, welcome everyone. We have all of our two people that love to watch us. We have Demento. It's more than two, damn it. I'm just self-deprecating. Demento from Ale Asylum Brewery here in Wisconsin. It's a session IPA. One of those, a juicy one, and one of those B cup, not disposable plastic IPA glasses that I got because of our friend Tiffany Martin. Yes, very nice, sturdy. I mean, it looks like a glass, don't it?
Yeah, and it's got a cool shape to it too. So
cool shape, absolutely, yeah.
So how's it taste?
After a few beers. I don't know who that is, but they would try to do what they did. I have no idea.
That was Jason Green. Yeah, he would do that.
Yeah, and he could probably pull it off too.
Yeah.
Right. This is I'm getting Citra, a lot of Citra hops, but not too juicy. Really, really light generally. A light hitter, not too hoppy. It's a session IPA, so it's perfect for the time of year that we're experiencing now, which is sitting out on the back, socially distanced, while you have a beer.
Socially distanced, of course.
Right. Whether you got the vaccine or not, it makes no difference at this point.
Yeah.
Let's just still stay away a little bit. Let's just, seriously, like, this is almost like, it's hard because this is like how you really put it down at the end, Doug, is that you have patience beyond the time that you really think you should even have patience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So I think a lot of people would be happy with having social distance stay this throughout like forever after this. I'm pretty sure some people would be cool with that.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone. Yeah. So I'm going to pull something from our good friend Daniel Fisher, who sent me 5 Boroughs Dark Lager Schwarzbier. So nice can. Had this for a while. Daniel sent me this a while ago, but Schwarzbiers will keep. So.
I didn't doubt you, Jason.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jason, we don't doubt you.
Right. I was close to going to an outdoor bar tonight. These are things we'll have to navigate soon. What's going on?
So, well, right now it's mostly head, but look at it's not like black lager. It's definitely dark lager. So a little darker than your standard lager. But the Schwarzbier stuff it's something you don't see a lot of, like your box and your, even like I said, I mentioned in the Badger Beer Hour when you guys were on it, I've actually seen a lot more Baltic porters this year than I've seen in ever, I think. So there's another style that just doesn't get a lot of play, but this is really excellent.
Yep, and it's a good. Somebody gets that beer at Costco. Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Oh.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't have a Costco here, so I can't do that.
Wow, where's your nearest Costco? Damn.
I couldn't tell you. Like literally, probably where Jason is, and he's in New York City.
Wow.
Like we don't have Costco here at all.
Costco, I was going to say Costco. You hear this? There's an opportunity there.
Yeah, so once in a while, Ariel Eisenberg will talk to me about whiskey, and he's like, "Oh man, I can get these off-brand whiskeys here over at Costco," and I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great. I just don't have a Costco here." So he's getting like 18-year Scotch for like $60, which is impossible to get at a regular brand. So,
wow.
Yeah, I would like that, but unfortunately, we're not quite that advanced here.
Well, I don't know. Next time I can take a trip to your house, maybe we can make this happen. So, I mentioned before that before I started my beer thing, and most people who know me from beer don't know that I used to be a semi-pro president of a semi-pro football team. I also played semi-pro. It was fun. Met a lot of really great people, especially in my community. Our guest is one of them. She plays semi-professional football. I think she's still playing now. We'll get the update. But I met her through that, and she ended up. We ended up having her on our team, and she played against the boys, Doug. And I'm not just saying she played. She caught passes. She was out there with them. It was just baller status, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't know why it took me so long to think that she would be a great guest, but she's going to be a great guest. So we're about to bring her on. My friend Chelsea Alt. She currently lives closer to you, Doug, than lives to me. Hi, Chelsea. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Thanks for coming on. First of all, what's in the glass?
Well, first of all, you guys see the Sharks Cup.
Oh, a Sharks
Oh,
Cup.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Representing.
It is Doc Cider from Warwick, New York.
Okay.
I should hold that with the ring. Oh, I can't. There we go.
Oh.
Whoa.
There you go.
Okay.
The bling.
Okay.
I had to.
We'll get into that for sure. But so are you before we get into everything, are you what kind of drinker are you? Beer drinker, cider drinker, cocktails, scotch, tequila?
All the above.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Drink.
Diversity is part of our show, so that's good.
Yes, absolutely. So Chelsea, tell us a little bit about. I mean, you got your resume is kind of extensive. I would say extensive, but I would rather you tell us about you a little bit, and then we can start poking at you.
Well, I guess right now I'm working at the United States Military Academy in West Point, New York. I'm an assistant fitness and aquatics manager. And it's a cool little area. So living and working on a military base, it's a whole different world. I also
kind of
play
crazy during COVID, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's been insane. And it's just really interesting because being federal government, you don't follow the state guidelines necessarily. So it's been very interesting, to say the least.
Wow. And having two different federal governments too, I'm sure maybe you've seen some differences in the way they. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes they don't align a lot.
Yeah, look at that. West Point, my son's top choice.
Yeah, that's
good choice.
Jason's son he's a soccer guy. He's really excellent at soccer.
Yeah, I know some really great soccer coaches out here. They're really awesome.
So we met in Wisconsin, and so let's just reel it all the way back because we found out who you are. We found out who you are now, but when did you know you wanted to play football? When because football is not a thing where we push our girls to do. In fact, if we find out our girls want to play football, we're like, no, you need to do something else. Like like society, we push girls away from things like this. And you just said, I don't give a fuck. I want to play football. When did that start and happen and all that?
Well, I was one of those girls who was told no, I couldn't play football growing up. So, I mean, I never really fought it, unfortunately. But in high school, we had a couple girls who wanted to play, and the coaches said no. They just straight up said no. They had no real reason. They would let them be a manager on the team, but just said no. So when I was 18, I moved to Madison, Wisconsin from Appleton, and I was working at a liquor store. Cheers to that.
Absolutely.
And a girl came in to hang up a flyer, and I thought it was guys. So I was like, oh, let me go check out some guys playing football. And she gave me this disgusted look and was like, no, it's girls. And then my coworker actually ended up daring me to go. And so I ended up just falling in love, and never looked back.
And that's the Cougars, right?
Yeah, we started out as the Cougars, went to the Blaze, and then I went to the Warriors with you.
Wow.
So prior to that, were you into athletics before that? And if so, what were you playing? Like, did you? I would imagine that was like not. You're just like, I'm just going to go do this now. I'm sure there was a progression of athletics that you got to get there, right?
Yeah. So I played soccer my entire life from like 6 up until 18. And then I played a little basketball, a little softball, but soccer was my main sport.
Excellent. And so while we're here, what are your thoughts on the latest? I would say latest. It really kind of rebirthed a couple months ago, a couple years ago. But what is your thoughts on the U.S. women's team soccer and them being paid as much as the men's team, which is horrible, and they are amazing. That's my commentary, by the way. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know I'm sure you have an opinion on it.
Oh yeah, I have a strong opinion on it. I think, just in general, women are not being paid what they should be. I experience that within the government right now. It's all across the board. It's not just athletics, but for that team specifically, the fact that they're so good and are so much better than men and get paid so like nothing. And you can't tell me it's not revenue coming in, because girls are watching that, at least that team. Like, I grew up pretty much idolizing Mia Hamm from the U.S. team, and this isn't anything new, and they've been good. So I don't even really have words for the anger that I have for that one.
Well, and I'm not trying to anger you here, but one of the things one of the things that the naysayers say is they always point to NBA, in my opinion, and they always point to women's basketball, and they're like, well, the women don't get enough rating. The women don't get ratings that the men do, and that argument doesn't work for the U.S. women's soccer team, because that team got out of the board ratings, and the men's team, I know, I keep up with the stuff, they don't get the same ratings. It doesn't.
No,
not only are they not at the same level, they're just not. So like that argument kind of like. So I don't know if you want to respond to that.
I mean, like I understand that standpoint. I do, to an extent, but you have to be willing to put something in it in order to get a product out of it. So like you struggle with that with women's football. Until we have somebody who's willing to put a whole bunch of money into it, you're not going to get the following. So the fact that their whole main focus is men. I mean, you saw it in the NCAA tournament, between the weight rooms. They're not willing to put in what they're putting in for the men.
Yeah,
so they're not going to get. Oh, I'm sorry, Doug.
No, did you see that thing, Greg, that she's referring to with the weight differential between the NCAA men's weight room and the NCAA women's weight room?
No,
it was disgusting.
There was no weight room for the women. It was a rack of like dumbbells.
Yeah, like 10-pound dumbbells. What the hell are you gonna do with that?
Really? So yeah. like Chelsea's saying, like, so if you're not willing to put in to the program the same thing you're going to put into the women's program, don't expect the same results, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I mean, I think the product is there for the actual sport, and the athletes, they're very, very talented. But if you're not advertising it, if you're not, you just aren't putting in the same. And whether that's sponsors and all of that, regardless, it's just not the same. And I think the biggest thing is I see it with women's football. Until we get huge sponsors or corporations to actually believe in us and want to put something into it, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Jeff said it was less than a decent home gym.
He's not lying.
It was awful. I wouldn't even have it as a home gym. You wouldn't be able to do anything. You wouldn't gain any muscle at all.
Well, wow. For someone like me, that probably would have helped. But
nah, you might have been better off lifting your beer. It would have gotten.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've been not getting great results on the strength part, but so happy with it at least. So the other thing I wanted to touch on is like if you talked about the NBA versus the WNBA, for instance, the WNBA was actually the first one to really push through on a lot of the social issues that later the NBA it wasn't long. The NBA picked up on it, but the WNBA was way ahead of them as far as like talking about Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. They were way ahead of the NBA in that. And the NBA came in and did that, but I think time and time again, you see just how hard the women athletes have to work and are willing to kind of not throw away what they have, but they're willing to go, hey, here's my stand. And I'm not making anywhere near what those guys make. If those guys in the NBA don't miss a month because of some protest or something, they're not gonna starve. Whereas women's athletics does not get the amount of money that if they said, well, I'm going to go and do this, my point was just that women have to do a lot of the work there and at a greater possible cost than the men do.
I think it comes down to passion. I mean, they're willing. First of all, I think women within the sport, within any sport, really, they truly play for the love of the game because they aren't getting paid for it. They aren't getting praise or the money for it. So they truly are playing for the love of the game, which I think is a different product on the field or the court because it's not you playing for a paycheck. I mean, some of them, yes, but there's more passion involved. And I think that gives them kind of more of a level to stand on when it comes to social issues like that. And I think women are involved in the leadership. And I think that I'm going to go on the gender role and say women need to be involved in leadership. Run
yeah,
this
they
shit
do.
right.
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Manny says they have to get jobs during the off season too, because again, their salaries don't add up. And another thing, while we're on the social, thanks for bringing. Are we gonna say, Doug?
No, go ahead.
Oh, thanks for bringing this up. Let's talk about real quick, not to delve into politics real hard, but let's talk about how the WNBA Atlanta team. I'm sorry, the nickname is missing me. If you guys can maybe jump in, about how they were so hard against Kelly Loeffler, who was the owner of their team, and she was talking all this mess about Black Lives Don't Matter and all this other shit, and these women were like, "No, lady," and they basically forced her at the risk of themselves, like, because she could have just fired them all or done something at the risk of themselves. They called her out, pushed it in her face, and basically made her resign. So we haven't seen any of that for all the LeBron squawking that he does, and I'm not trying to talk down on him. It's great that he does it. But for all that kind of stuff on the men's side, we haven't really seen the men, maybe I'm wrong, step up to this manner and be like, "Oh, motherfucker, this ain't working." Chelsea?
They don't have the balls to do it.
Well, again, what LeBron does and like three other people, and then it just seems like, again, Doug, you're the NBA person. Maybe I'm missing some of this or something, or maybe I'm wrong.
NBA now there's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of stuff being said about it, but again, that was miles behind the WNBA, the Atlanta Storm.
Right. Atlanta Storm, okay.
Yep. And
those ladies weren't playing.
Those wore like elect Warnock shirts in their warm-up to try to get her voted out of office. Like, that takes some freaking nuts.
Right, that's your
all
boss.
I gotta say, that's what happens when women come together. Period. Like, that's what happens. Like, we don't care. We're willing to put it on the line. Like, it really.
Right. And you guys win. They won. Like, they got rid of her. She had to sell. She wasn't really even a good fit there anyway. So, like, if she do it too at some point, she's like, this isn't working out. Nah.
Yeah, because what do you do after that? Like, how do you even handle that?
Yeah. Right. I'd be like, all right, bitches, I'm out too then. Bye. I'm like, all right. All right. It's just not some things just aren't, even if even good-mannered people, some connections just aren't ever going to work just by personality. And it's not really, sometimes it's not, look, I don't like Kelly Loeffler one bit, but sometimes it's just not about, it's just about you can have two good people not work out. How about that?
Absolutely.
Speaking of two good people or one good person and a beer, I got Beerio.
Beerio, what a great name.
Awesome. Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's put Beerio. I never put myself on a big. Let's put Beerio. Yeah. Oh, look, he's got a bottle coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, it almost looked
I
like a
thought
cigar.
it looked like a. I was just gonna say it looked like a joint, but it looked like something. It didn't look like a beer bottle at first.
I like your
telling
answer
us-
better.
That does look like a joint, though.
It does.
Right.
I'm glad you agree.
So this is very much like the last one I had, Doug. It's clear as hell. Chelsea, have you been in Madison, and have you gone to, or do you know anything about the Delta Beer Lab?
I do not.
They
Where is
are
that?
they off the Beltline near Rimrock.
Huh. Okay.
Tucked back where the Resilience Center and the bowling alley kind of is. Long
Yep.
story short, they came out with it like within 2 years. They came out and said, "Look, we are socially, what's the word I'm at? They didn't say woke, but they said we're a socially aggressive beer company. We promote diversity. Everybody up in there is either gay or color
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
I
And
love
they're
that.
just a really good during the George Floyd things. I mean, they were just out there just screaming and hollering about social issues. They're fantastic. They're great people to work with. And the next time you're home, you need to check them out. Or I
Oh, I
don't. Home is where
absolutely
you're
will.
at. So, but the next time you're back to Wisconsin,
No, home
you need to
is
check them out.
Wisconsin.
Okay,
Home will always be
okay.
Wisconsin.
I didn't want to categorize that for you because sometimes my mother goes, "Oh, you have to come home," and my mother is in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, "That ain't my home." So like, just relax, lady, with all due respect. Um, so that's why I didn't want to paint that on you. I wanted
Well,
you
I
to,
think
define where home is for you.
home is where the heart is. That's what they
Right.
say.
Or the
Right.
cheese curds.
If your heart's with mom's in Wisconsin for me.
Right. Or the cheese curds. So
Yeah.
how are cheese curds out east?
Definitely where the heart is.
How are
They don't-
cheese curds out east?
They don't even know what they are.
Hey, if you go to Wegmans, they have them there, and they import them from Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I
Oh.
just recently found some at Adams Fair Care. Adams. I don't know how to say it. It's a like grocery store, but then also Buffalo Wild Wings has them. The deep fried.
Oh, so it's a little, but it's still not like back here. That's not even front.
But wait, I got a bomb to drop on you. Have you ever had deep fried cheese curds dipped in caramel?
No,
but that sounds
It
delicious.
sounds disgusting to me. Like when I first heard it, I was like, "That sounds disgusting." Disgusting. I tried it. Your whole life will change. I had to call my mom and talk to her for like an hour because I was like, "Where? What? You're telling me a girl from New York as waitress at Buffalo Wild Wings is the one that's gonna expose this to me? Nobody in Wisconsin tried this."
No.
I thought they deep fry everything in Wisconsin. I thought that was like kind of the shtick. Besides cheese,
they do, but they don't. I mean, I guess it's just not known to dip it in caramel, and it's a game changer.
That sounds delicious.
Wow.
When you said it, even I was like, "Ooh, that sounds yummy."
Yeah, it's like the sweet and salty.
Yes, yes. So real quick though, before we move on, I wanted you to comment on this, Doug and Chelsea. Manny says that the women in the WNBA are more fundamentally sound than the men. I think is what he's saying. Doug, what is your opinion on this?
I would agree with that, at least from a basketball perspective. I can't speak to any other sport.
Right, that's what we're talking about. Right.
Like you'll watch a lot of guys in the NBA, and they're just freak athletes. So you're like, yeah, you can do a lot of stuff that I can't do, but that's like I could do, I could shoot a basketball, but like some of those guys, their hands are like 3 times the size of my hand, so the ball looks like a tennis ball in their hand, which makes it a little easier to shoot the ball. But like when you're watching women's basketball, there's an ebb and flow to it that it's all doing the right things, being in the right spot, it's spacing. There's not as much like you're going to have some players who are really super gifted one-on-one players, but for the most part, it's really much more team oriented.
Chelsea, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely agree with that. I think it's more of a team sport. Like I said, when women come together, like some amazing things happen. And I just think that the men are so like ego driven and paycheck driven. That's such an individual team sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that could go for a lot of male professional sports. I would say that for football as well.
And I think you see it in the soccer too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, the women's soccer team is crisp. They're like,
yeah, their passes.
Men's
Like
soccer team is like,
nobody cares about like if I score. It's we score. Like they do really truly work together as a team instead of an individual.
Yeah, man, it says WNBA more fundamentally sound and skill sets. And that that kind of feeds into what we know about America in general. Sorry, people, you're about to hear a lecture. And it just seems like white males can, like, with all due respect, like coast through being subpar. And it just seems like women and people of color have to bust their ass and be fundamentally sound. And you almost to succeed. Not that white men and white people in general aren't fundamentally sound. Not that they don't work their ass off. Not that they don't know how to do this. It just seems like the bar is lower. And it just seems like women have to work harder. So being fundamentally sound and going by like the basics, like by what you know, is something that like you almost have to start at and just progress. And that has to almost be your thing. Whereas, some white people and black, it works with black people too, especially in basketball, in my opinion, and male basketball players who are just like, I'm talented. I don't need that shit. Like they almost say it. And I've heard this shit on the semi-pro and football field, and it's really, really interesting because, with all due respect to the men who play semi-pro, like women play semi-pro different reasons than men do. We could talk about that because that's women's outlet. That's their only outlet to play football, any kind of professional way. Whereas the fellas that played it didn't make it to the next level. A lot of them, or they made it to the next level and they're older and they just want to play. But a lot of those guys did not make it to the next level. Sorry, I have to call it the way it is. So why didn't you guys make it to the next level? Well, a lot of them didn't do the fundamentally sound shit. We got a lot of like big talented guys that were playing. Don't get me wrong, but some of them were just lazy, lazy. And I saw that 100%. Shit. I saw that shit with my eyes, but I never saw laziness when I went to the Cougars and when I went to your practices and when I went to your games. Like if I saw laziness, with all due respect, it was like the lower end of your rosters, and it was, you know what I mean? It was like your backups. And I'm not trying to be an ass, but like that's kind of, unfortunately, that's why you're backup because you're just not,
right.
With all due respect, you're not putting in the shit that Chelsea's putting in. You're not there at the end of this practice. You're not there at the beginning. So, I mean, that's just, fundamental things, but I think that's kind of where we're at as far as the men and women thing go. Chelsea, you get to respond, and then Doug, your second beer.
I mean, first I'll say that women's ball has come we've come such a long way since you last saw the Madison Cougars or Madison Blaze. Like completely different. Once I got to New York, completely different. Now we have a whole nother league started. It's different. But yes, I will say I'll kind of circle back to the love of the game. Like you got women out here who are mothers, lawyers, cops, all of it. The whole night we have 9-to-5 jobs and families. And then on top of that, we're truly just going out there and playing for the love of the game. But I mean, the other thing is when a lot of these women start playing football, they don't know anything stepping onto that field. So you have to start from scratch. Like, when I stepped on the field, I didn't know a single thing. Like, I'd watch football, but I didn't know gaps or where you line up or like any of that. So there's just so much more that you have to learn. And you only play if you're willing to learn that. Whereas guys, they're so ego driven. Like, and that's why they don't go further than semi-pro, where they're just, they think that they're the shit, but they aren't because they aren't willing to put in that extra work.
Right. And
I mean,
a lot
football
of them
doesn't.
Too.
Yeah, and football doesn't stop on the field either. So, like, I know for a lot of women, it carries on once you step off the field. I mean, you go home and you're watching film. You're talking about plays on your lunch breaks. You're watching film. You're talking about plays. There are no semi-pro men out there doing that really. And if they are, I don't know what they're doing wrong.
Right. And they're probably on a winning team though, if they're doing it right. Because again, I've not only been ahead of bad teams, I've seen them. They just don't have, you know what I mean? They just don't have that drive that you would have. And again, it's special for them because again, that's where you guys, that's your space. Like, you know, it's just hard to explain, I guess, if, you know, unless you're really into that. But or you're really into semi-pro, it's kind of really hard to, in my opinion, to articulate this sometimes, especially to men who, again, we're in that circle again.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not going to get it.
Men are hard-headed.
Right. Doug, speaking of, I love, that's a wonderful segue. Doug, men are hard-headed. Hi, Doug.
Hi. Yeah, that's me. All right, so I'm going to go second beer here. I bought this purely for the can art.
Oh.
Anime looking thing.
Whoa.
Like,
that's cool.
All but one of my children are into anime. My wife's into anime. So I'm not, but I thought this was pretty cool. Citrus Space Invader. This is a double dry hop, New England style, double IPA with Citra, Craig.
Why, Doug? Oh, because of the can.
That sounds like
I got
something
it.
you'd like.
Right. I'm like, Doug, this isn't your why.
No, it's not really my jam, but because it was the can was cool, I got some.
Yeah, Chelsea. Doug is a can art. He picks sometimes his beer by just what the can looks like.
Well, that's what I did today with my next one.
Ah, excellent. Excellent. Hold on one sec, Chelsea. Let's
okay.
Hold on. What is it?
Day drinking, because I like day drinking.
Oh, look at that.
And it's pink.
Watermelon rosé.
Oh, it's yeah, like a wine spritzer. I don't know. I just like day drinking. That's the only reason I got it.
Hey, I bought beers for their name too. So yeah, that's totally legit.
Doug,
right.
What's up with that one?
It's got the right color.
It looks right. It looks
my dirty glass.
It's yeah.
Okay, so New England style, so it's hazy, but it's a little hoppy right on the front. Greg, I think you'd really dig this. It's
yeah.
It's not bad. It's not something I would gravitate towards, but
sure, no.
I did buy a 4-pack of this, so there may be one coming in the mail to you.
Yeah, and I gotta send you some Alasam I got today. I gotta send you Berio.
Yeah, this one, this is 8% ABV though.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Nice big one.
That's not the biggest beer I have tonight, so.
Oh.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Oh, the Schwartz beer I had earlier was only 5, which is why I started with the dark lager. So.
Chelsea, you want to show us yours again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you finishing the first one still?
I'm slow. Let me check.
No, we don't have to be fast. We're not rushing.
Right. And we're not even pushing. Right. So I can. Oh, here we go.
I like the racing stripe.
I have no idea if it's good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty can too.
Yeah,
it does look pretty. Yep. So
I mean, it doesn't have Mario the joint or anything, but it's pretty.
That's a high bar.
So our friend Manny is he's literally a cereal holic, Chelsea. He loves cereals. He loves the cereal. He loves cereal beers. He loves cereal bars. He loves cereal everything. So I just want to give you that context before I put this comment up. He's like, I hear you, girl. I've been demanding more female cereal mascots. Men run many things. So even in the cereal world, women aren't represented. And that's just dumb because how many girls like cereal? And it's just easy. It's easy. It would be so easy to just come up with, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I've never actually thought about that.
Yeah, I can't even think of a cereal that has a female mascot. I'm trying to.
All I know is that there was once a female football player on the Wii box, Sam Gordon.
Oh. Who?
She is
Sam Gordon.
Sam Gordon. She's a young girl playing football, and she now has her own league, I believe, in Utah. A Utah girls Football league. Wheaties
Wow.
box.
Oh, Wheaties. That's cool.
Cheers to that. There you go, Manny. There's one, but that's the best we can do, Manny.
That's terrible, though. We got to do better.
That was terrible. We got to do better, and it would be so easy now, and it would be It would be so easy. It would be so fucking easy. Oh my goodness! It's not like it's like difficult shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it takes. This is what people don't understand, though. It takes diversity to breed diversity. So that just tells me that there's a whole bunch of old white dudes on these boards who have no idea about anything. And again, if they had a woman or a person of color in there, they'd be like, hey, why don't we do a woman? Why don't we bust out a woman? One of our favorite breweries in here in Madison, I don't know if you know about them either, Chelsea. It's called Giant Jones, and they are female. Wow. They are female. They are queer. They are fan-fucking-tastic. It's two females. They run the whole brewery, and they're just amazing. But some of their beers, why I'm talking about them, is they have this wonderful women on their beer can on their beer bottles. Doug, we've seen them, and they just push that out like, and it's just not. It's unless you really think about it, it's nothing to you. You're just like, oh, look at her, she's a badass. Damn. Oh, look at her, she's a badass. You know what I mean? It's not anything that you would just normally think. Oh, it's a woman. You're just like, damn, that's a really badass lady that they got on this fucking can. This is shit. So like, it's
that's
just
awesome.
Yeah, Madison and beer, man. I'm telling you, we've picked up our game.
I've been gone too long.
Yeah, we picked up our beer game, and we also picked up our social beer game. Meaning, these places are very social forward. They're pushing initiatives. They're making beers to give away for charity. I have some things in the works that I can't talk about, but they are this related. And yeah, it's just we're doing. Its progress is slow, Chelsea, but we're doing good.
Hey, that's awesome. I was just excited to see the Alt beer. Have you been there? The Alt Brewery?
Yes.
That's my last name. I gotta love it.
Yes, gluten free, Doug.
Yeah.
What's that?
They're gluten free.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
There's also a style of beer called Alt beer, so that's.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is. But yes, Alt Brewing, still around, still doing good things too. Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
When's the last time you were back in Wisconsin, Chelsea?
Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I don't know at this point. It's been so long. I don't know what year it is anymore. we lost the whole year. I'm like, crap. I don't even know. But I'm about to go back in June because my sister-in-law just had a baby.
Oh, cool.
So I get to go back.
Excellent. So I have to ask, and we have to talk about, since you're a huge football fan. First of all, Aaron Rodgers and this mess. I mean, come on, people. so before we get to that, though, or not before we're here. Aaron. So for people who want to be brought up, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, Hall of Fame quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. If you don't follow sportsball, if you follow sportsball, you know who Aaron Rodgers is. I shouldn't have to tell you. Okay, he's one of the best quarterbacks on the planet. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the past 10 years. He's amazing talent. Fantastic. If you want to argue that, well, I guess we can. But I'm not trying to go over there. But he's just a great quarterback. So recently he came out and said that, or today he said, I'd rather retire unless you guys fix shit or something. And apparently he was talking to them and, this whole thing. So he's pushing to move out. And Chelsea, you say it. Where are you at?
I'm going to cry. Listen, I thought that Aaron Rodgers would never pull a Brett Favre. And here he is about to pull a Brett Favre.
It's eerily similar, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I'm circling back to the ego thing.
To who?
The ego thing.
Oh.
He's ego-driven. I mean, he's not a true team player, I don't think. They're all just in it for themselves.
And part of the angle here too, people are talking about, especially the retirement thing, is that Aaron Rodgers tried out for Jeopardy. Did you see any of that, Chelsea?
No. I saw commercials or like little
Okay.
clips, but no.
I've been following this because I was kind of a Jeopardy head, but I'm actually more fascinated by the whole Jeopardy thing. It's like how do you replace a legend? Like Alex Trebek clearly was a legend. He's the face of that show. So like to me, it's just fascinating how they're going about like trying to find out who's going to be the next and the people who like they actually have up there. So Aaron Rodgers was one of them that people are like, what? Like, huh? So that I don't know if you saw it or not, Chelsea or Doug. I saw him. Aaron Rodgers was fantastic, in my opinion, at that role. He was really, really, really good. But there's some other people that were really good too. This week was Anderson Cooper, and I think next week is Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper was pretty damn good at just doing it. So I don't know if I call him AR. I don't know if AR is gonna like. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna get that gig. But like I think he's part of it is like, oh, I might be Jeopardy guy, so like you guys have to like, you know what I mean? So I don't know if you want to jump off on any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe Jeopardy stroked his ego a little bit, and now he's like, "No, I'm not gonna stay here unless you're gonna give me this, pay me that." Like, I don't think he might be the reason he drove Mike McCarthy away.
He drove Mike McCarthy away.
He definitely, because I think that Aaron Rodgers, I think he thinks that he runs that team. And like, if they aren't going to give him what he wants, he's out. And to me, that's awful. Like, you're just not a true team player, I guess. I don't know. That's why I don't like this whole money thing. Like, they're getting paid so much money to just stroke their own egos. I don't know. It's just
right. So my prediction is that Aaron Rodgers will be a game show host, but it won't be Jeopardy. He will eventually be one though. It may be some like low par one or something. Were you gonna say, Doug?
Yeah. I want him to come back and be like the host of the remake of the Match Game,
or something like that. Yes,
just have that real long skinny mic and just
yeah.
It's gonna end up being like Brett Favre. He's gonna think he's about to go win a Super Bowl or do really great on a game show, and he's gonna flop.
But right. But you have to admit, though, Green Bay, the organization, hasn't really done everything the best leading up to this too. You know what I mean? So like they're kind of at fault here too. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. They need more women involved.
Well. And that's a great segue. Unless you have something, that's a great segue to.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is I was listening to something, and this will just be real quick, was that I heard like the last 8 draft picks in the first and second round of Green Bay has done. They've all been defensive players. They've got no offensive help for him.
It's 9 out of 10 of the last first round picks were defense, and then the one was a quarterback last year. And then so to me it's like, okay, fine, like, okay, so you want to build a defense with your Hall of Fame quarterback, we got it, everybody agrees to that, but they didn't really build a defense because it's not really great, you know what I mean? So it's like it's right, so it's almost like I almost like the way Aaron Rodgers is acting is like it's repulsive, don't get me wrong, like it's not really like oh, I want to grab him and hug him after he's acting this way, but at the same time I'm almost like, well, you guys didn't really help. Like, you knew you had a diva. Don't lie. You knew you had a diva. You know what I'm saying? Right. You had a diva with Brett Favre, too. So you guys knew that. Yeah. Don't front. Like, let's not. That's part of the whole game, and we understand that. Like Chelsea, as a former president of a semi-pro football team, I mean, divas is everywhere. Divas is the whole team.
They were more of a diva than listen. When I was in the huddle or in the locker room with the Warriors, way more divas than the girls' team ever had.
Please say that again. Can you say that again? Seriously.
I don't even know how I phrased it. The Warriors, full of divas, men semi-pro, thrive.
Men's
so
team,
divas,
right?
Men yeah.
And remember those people who said, "Oh, we can't have a woman president because she might be emotional."
Yeah, okay.
And then we had 45. And then we had 40. Then we had 45, and he pretty much showed us that
Yeah,
That was a load
they
of
just
shit.
can't handle a woman coming in and changing shit.
Right. That's what it. Anyway, Doug, I love that. That's one of my favorite emojis. Is that damn fist now? I love it. It's great. Doug, you have a follow up on that? Because I was just going to go to the NFL. We can get to the NFL coaches women if you want to do that now, Doug, or if you had a question now.
Let's do that because we were heading that way, and I wanted to touch on that stuff too.
So you go, buddy. I don't know if you want to.
Well, and of course, right now you do that, and the ladies' names just like fly right out of my head, so I can't.
Yeah, Chelsea. Who are the names of the ladies in the NFL?
Well, there's a bunch of them. Jen King, my former teammate on the New York Sharks. She is currently coaching with Washington, previously Washington Redskins.
Washington football team. Yep.
And then you have Katie Sowers. I don't think she's actively coaching right now, but she was with the 49ers and I'm drawing a blank. Another team.
Well, I know that the Cleveland Browns. I know that the coaches.
Yep. So
the coaches, chief of staff, like the person who like does all his shit, like keeps it all going. You got to be here. You got to do that. She's a female.
That's Callie Bronson. I played against her. She played for the DC Divas.
Oh, yep. Okay.
And then you have Lori Locust, who is on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just won a Super Bowl. She was a D-line coach.
Yes. D-line coach of the champion. Man.
And did you see that D-line during the Super Bowl? You can't tell me that woman didn't have something to do with it.
That defense was just as much a part of it as Tom Brady's. Anyway.
Ooh, let's move on from that.
So we have women in all different spots of coaching and now front offices too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been in the offices. You just don't hear about them a lot. I mean, we've been around. It's just now we've gotten onto the actual field.
Gotcha. Right. Actually, literally coaching and teaching. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, we've even had a few women coaches in the NBA. Becky Hammond is probably going to be the first female coach in the NBA at some point. She's interviewed for a couple of head coaching jobs. She's Greg Popovich's second in command and the the bench. Pop is awesome. He's super freaking progressive. He's all about that stuff. And Becky is badass. I mean, she's a great player in her day, but she really knows her shit. And that's the thing is like, I just wish she interviewed for the Bucks head coaching job a couple years ago, and they didn't hire her. I forget. They hired some other guy that I couldn't even tell you what the fuck his name is because he's just like inconsequential. But yeah, I think you're seeing more of that just because we're realizing that it's not just because you have a dick doesn't mean that you're better at coaching than other people.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been to coaching clinics and I've known more than the guys across from me. It's crazy. Like just because you're a dude doesn't mean that you know football. And honestly, like a lot of these women in the NFL, they know their shit. Like they aren't just picking up any random girl on the street. Like Jen King, especially, she's a baller. I mean, I played against her. Actually, I played against her when I was on the Wisconsin team, and then I played with her when I was in New York, or on the New York Sharks. So I've seen her not only against her, but with her, and she's played almost every position. I mean, she has a huge knowledge of the game. She was a quarterback, wide receiver. I mean, defense, safety, all of it. Like she knows the game, and that's the thing is, people have to understand that the women that are going into the NFL, they aren't just there to look good and be the token female. They actually know the game, and a lot of them know how to play the game.
Yep. Jeff says that they're currently Red Sox currently have their first black female MLB. So I mean, it seems like hopefully,
that's pretty big. That's pretty big considering Boston's history of black athletes, which is not good.
Right.
They've been very bad in the past. I mean, and you can point to the Celtics as being like the first NBA team to really start integrating black players, but like their baseball teams and stuff like not good. So kudos to them.
Yeah, and more if you want more of what Doug says, Google Robert Parrish, and he tells a really, really interesting story about how people would cheer for him on Monday night during the games, and they did not want to live next to him. So it's just very, very interesting. He literally says that, and he goes into stories, and he has all that. So Google that if you want to talk about what Doug was talking about for sure. But yeah, so we usually have sponsor time. Chelsea, do you have anything to talk about, or we can skip it? It's up to you. Right?
Can you even see? I don't even know.
That says it all, right?
Okay, well,
I don't know. It's the first thing I thought of. Jen King, the NFL coach, she wears one of these as well.
Where what is that? What league was that? When did that happen? And what part did you play in that, lady?
This is 2018 New York Sharks, a part of the Women's Football Alliance, WFA. We won a national championship and an international championship. So national championship, we went down to Kennesaw State in Georgia and won the D2 national championship. And then we traveled over to the University of Birmingham in UK.
England.
Wow.
And we also won an international championship, got a gold medal.
Damn.
Yeah.
So question I have for that is it like really American football really big over in the UK? Like I know that we export like NFL games over there for they play in Wembley Stadium. They're like 30,000 people, but it didn't strike me as it was like an international. But I think that's really cool. But like I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean there's women's teams all over the place. So we played Sweden. I'm gonna draw a blank. I feel like obviously Birmingham. Sweden and Birmingham were the two that we played in the tournament that we won, but they're all over. You have leagues in Spain. I mean, you name it, they probably have a league. It's blowing up right about now. But then there's also another women's league that developed recently, and it's kind of cool. Normally, I would say I want women's football leagues to all join as one so we can actually like blow up how we need to. But there's also a WNFC is another league. That's the one that Jen currently plays in. But that one's going to start being televised. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, and our national championship game was on ESPN 2 or 3. So we're making waves. We're making waves. We're not there yet, but we've come a long way.
No. Right. Is this the first sports hardware in BAB history?
Yes, it is. We have never had anyone come in and sport championship hardware.
Bam!
You're the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chelsea was awesome too in pre-production. She's like,
here's
look,
another one. This is
what's
from
this
the
one?
Wisconsin team. This is a bowl game from Wisconsin.
Yay!
So how big do those things feel on your fingers? Because I always hear like the championship rings are like massive.
This one is
like way
huge. I don't wear it normally. It's really big, and I got the smaller size.
That thing looks like if you punch somebody with that, they would be completely knocked out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Like brass knuckles. Look at it. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yep. It's huge. And I know like the other ones men's, of course, they're bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Like they have to compensate for things, I'm assuming.
Oh. That's why they have the egos. I'm gonna drink that one.
So one of the things we love to do here is show videos. So what are you gonna say, Doug? You got something?
No, I was coughing. So go ahead.
Okay. Here we go.
Spelled it all turbulent.
He hasn't got it. Basically, you're not cut off because you're drunk. You're fine. It's just that, you know what I mean? Right, no, I get you. Yeah.
Well, they cut him off. And he managed to get another one.
I would be worried if I was a woman next to him with the tablet out. Because she had like an electronic device sitting next to him. I'd be like, crazy. Like,
oh, this one here? Oh, yeah.
Right, no, I get you.
Wow, dude.
Also, we need to get Scroggs to teach that guy how to shotgun a beer because that that was not proper form.
Look, right. Look at you.
Yes, a plain chug challenge.
So Chelsea, Robert Scroggs is one of our friends. He's a certified cistern beer expert guy, and he does these different creative ways of chugging beers. So I don't know. Mile High would be another thing. I mean,
Oh,
Mile High Club.
Right, Mile High Beer Truck Club, right? Is that
a little different?
Yeah, Mile High Beer Truck Club. Right. I'm sure he's done it on a cruise ship. Yeah, I'm sure he's done it on a cruise ship. Right. I don't know. That's not the place I want to chug a beer though. No.
I can't chug beer in general, but if I'm on a 7 a.m. flight to Miami, I'm drinking. So I don't blame him.
Okay, so you're that. Okay, so here we go.
I'm that
So
person.
You're that. I was gonna say, are you that person?
I'm that person, but I cannot shotgun a beer, so I wouldn't be shotgunning. But I'm drinking on a 7 a.m. flight to Miami.
Can you chug other things and just not beer? Can you chug like
just chugging isn't my thing, but I'm drinking. Yeah.
Right.
I'll chug if I have to. Sure. If I'm in a hurry and we gotta go, I'll chug it. But if I'm on a 7 a.m. flight, I got alcohol.
Man, I wish I was that guy. I'm the guy that waits, so I'll wait, and then after I get off the plane, it is so on that like whatever I do is focus around beer. So
I gotta have pre-game drinks, pre-flight drinks.
Pre-flight drinks. Whoa.
I don't drink before I play football.
Okay.
Disclaimer.
Coaches note.
Maybe with the Warriors I might have, but no.
Well, we were
trash.
We're a mess too, though. Like we were a mess in that way. We were a mess in that way, right?
I mean,
people smoking weed before the game. It was
all of it.
How do you do that and play football?
I don't.
I mean, it's
at that point I wasn't really right.
Some
That's why I played.
Actually, really do it.
Right.
I couldn't.
Like
I get afterwards because like the guys and gals playing football, like afterwards your body is just like, ugh.
Yeah, you just gotta chill. But before I'd be out there like, oh my god, what's the play? I don't even know what that is anymore. Like there's no way.
Hey man, why'd you throw the ball over here?
Exactly. All slow. No.
That's just like your opinion, man. Hey, I was running the wrong route.
So as we come out of this pandemic, people are starting to move around more, and obviously we got to get back to where we need to get back to, but people got to be safe. But Chelsea, you were somewhere really interesting this week, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I had a weird trip for my 30th birthday.
Excellent.
I went to Cape Cod on a limb. Never been there. Don't know anyone there. So I randomly, I was about to turn 30. Felt like a milestone. So I was like, I gotta do something different. And so I'm searching for places. And I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, I had a Martha's Vineyard shirt as a kid. So I texted my mom and I was like, did you go to Martha's Vineyard and bring me back a shirt? And she said, yeah. So apparently there's this trip that my aunt who passed away was supposed to go on. And she wasn't able to because she passed away. So I was like, I gotta go. So kind of fast forward. I'm about to leave, or like the weekend before I'm about to leave. I get a cold and I'm ready to cancel the trip. So I'm laying in bed just dying with this cold, not COVID. And like numerous times, this freaking Barbie commercial kept coming up. Okay, Barbie. It was Barbie and Chelsea, the lost birthday. And I was like, every time I'm like, what is going on? Like, is this real? I felt high. I don't know. Like, what is happening? Why is Barbie and Chelsea going on the lost birthday? Like, so I was like, all right, I gotta go. And I gotta get Barbie and we gotta go figure out this lost birthday. So I went to the store. Look, I got her sitting here too. I went and bought a Barbie. Turning 30 years old, I'm a whole child. I bought a Barbie. This is Barbie and Chelsea, the lost birthday, and we traveled to Cape Cod.
Very cool.
And I don't know if you ever, like, in elementary school, did you ever do Flat Stanley?
Yes. Well, I didn't, but my kids did.
Flat Stanley. So you, like, document the trip, like Flat Stanley. So I documented my trip with Barbie. So we had a great time.
Last name was like a little piece of paper, and it looked like this one thing. And you go and you photograph them wherever you were at, so you could document the trip.
Yeah, you like show where Flat Stanley goes. So I was showing Barbie thing.
Right, and our friend Stubbs did that with a gnome.
Yeah.
See, it's a good time.
Hey, to each their own, right?
You should have seen the looks I had on the beach, like posing Barbie up for a picture, but you know.
Right. Well, but then you can tell the story. It's great.
Yeah. Fuck them. You did what you wanted to do.
I mean, Barbie and I went out the first night and had some fun with some friends at a bar. That face you just made, though.
Yeah, are you okay there, Greg? What is that you're opening?
That doesn't smell good, does it?
No, and I knew this beer was going to be.
Oh, if it's that bad, if it smells that bad, I wouldn't even drink it. What is it?
It's. I want to speak to your manager. Karen's Rage.
It's Karen's Rage.
I want to speak to your manager. This is the Karen beer from Ale Asylum.
Of course, it's gonna taste awful.
But it's
Karen.
It's infused with terpene. TARPENE.
Terpene. I don't know what the hell that is.
I don't either.
Infused extra pale ale. It smells.
Oh, wait. Terpenes are aromatic compounds found in many plants, including weed.
That probably smells like weed. You're smelling a skunk over there.
That's probably like.
Right. Is this purposely awful?
Yeah, because Karen is definitely awful. It would make sense.
What was the brewery that was making the intentionally bad beer so that it would be a comment on climate change?
Oh, you sent that shit to me.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was, and I was like, I would get it just because of the statement, but.
All right, so weed infused beer, or something like that.
Uh-oh, it's about to get weird around here.
It's supposed to be just the aromatic compounds. It's not supposed to be flavorful, according to what I'm reading.
Right, because I'm not tasting any of that shit.
Not getting any dank.
No. This beer smells like shit. So let's just say that right there. Like, and it's not shit. Obviously, it smells like.
I need to know
it smells like something that like. Shit. Yeah, it smells like something that you will pull from under your sink to clean your sink. How about that?
Like,
you know what I mean? Like one of those, like, yeah, it smells chemically.
Chemically.
Like it smells like chemically. Yeah. I mean, it all smells chemically.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it smells like chemicals, like industrial. I need to see your manager.
Rock style.
All right. So since we're talking about a Karen and this beer smells awful, but it's actually pretty good. I would have so dry finish, no like fruit or anything. But it has like a earthy kind of finish. But it doesn't smell, it doesn't drink like it smells, which is rare and fantastic in this instance because again it smells awful, but it drinks pretty damn good. So while I was hesitating on showing this Karen or not. Sometimes Chelsea, I post up a whole bunch of videos and then we get through them, and depending on the conversation and how much we get through, what time it is, sometimes I just don't show them, and then we go to post-production and then I show them there sometimes. So I didn't know if this was going to make it or not, but since I'm having this awfully smelling beer, we're going to show this clip. Hold your ears.
Worship pray, mask, and you're proud of it. Shove the mask up your ass and out your mouth. No new world order. Nobody's safe. Your own shit, Satan. England, elite motherfucker. I told you don't give him access. Did you just say something I told you not to say? Pushing my buttons with your snake motherfucker on the ground with your luggage shit? Are you with the goddamn sellout FBI motherfucker? With Obama and my family? Are you the bird bitch from stolen stuff in Mexico?
From stolen
stuff
in Mexico?
God is? It's not Satan. Understood? It's not going to be anybody else's God either. Hold along.
I love that everybody applauded. I love that everybody applauded after that. That was the best.
And then she was mad. She came back. And listen, this is what scares me about going to the airport, like going anywhere now, or as we coming out of this. Chelsea, as people who watch the stream and Doug knows, I've really gone to very few places since the pandemic, like literally like probably 10 or something. And the supermarket is one of them. And if you take that out, I haven't been many places. But one of the things that scares me, and Doug and I always talk about it, is that since I haven't been any places, the only thing I see are these Karen videos that I look up every week. So like my whole perspective on like going out is around like, oh my God, like I'm almost like, we're in America. With all due respect, we're in America. We should be worried about getting shot up. And it's not funny, but that's just the truth because that's where we're at. I'm a black male. I need to be worried about cops and all this. Meanwhile, I'm over here worried about Karens. And whether I'm going to see them. They're scary.
They are.
Like, I don't know how I would deal with that. Like, especially at the airport. I'm with Doug. I would be like hiding over here. And then when she gets pulled out, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be screaming. But I would be screaming after. I wouldn't try to like get in their face, or I'm not trying to get any confrontation. Even in the airport where you pretty much know no one has like a gun or a knife because they've been to security. So then you almost feel more. I almost feel more emboldened to call people out in that instance. And I'm like, nah, lady, you crazy. I don't know what you're gonna do.
I mean, I haven't left a whole lot either. I live and work on a military base. We got a grocery store here. You don't really leave. So Cape Cod was my first real like adventure outside of this place. But I will tell you, within my job, I have to enforce the masks, and there are definitely Karens, and you should definitely be afraid.
Oh, so you've dealt with people enforcing Matt like?
Oh yeah.
Lord. So you've heard the whole. You've heard the whole.
All of it. All of it. You name it, I've heard it.
Wow, medical exemption. Yeah. We've heard. Yeah. Oh, what's here we go. I wasn't going to play this one, but here we go. Just because you said it. Where is it? Let's go. Come on.
And it'd be like if we said that she couldn't shop in the store without taking off her hijab.
Ma'am, no, it's our company policy that you have to have your mask on.
It doesn't matter. Your policy is below the law.
Wait. So first of all, before we get there, she's complaining that she can't wear a mask because the lady is wearing a hijab. Is that what
Hijab. Yeah.
I mean, a job. I'm sorry. Is that
Hijab.
Hijab?
And it'd be like if we
You got that from her.
without taking off her hijab.
Ma'am, no, it's our company policy that you have to.
Boy, again. So before we even get to the rest of her crazy argument, the lady has a had. What is this called? Excuse me.
Hijab.
Right, and what it is it's a thing that covers your whole head, right?
Yeah, and there's ones that cover your face, those are burqas, but yeah.
Right. So the fact that the lady could wear one is a reason why she shouldn't wear a mask. Is that? I'm just making sure that we got the quote logic here before we move on because it gets crazier. Watch.
She can't shop in the store without taking off her hijab.
Ma'am, no, it's our company policy that you have to have your mask on.
It doesn't matter. Your policy is below the law, is below the Constitution, is
Below
below
the
my
law?
rights.
This is a private company,
And
so
it's-
we
and
have
you're
our
doing-
rules.
And you're doing a
Is that a new one, Chelsea? Have you not heard
That's
that
a new
one?
one. That's a new one.
She was given a hierarchy, right? Like, here's your policy, here's the law, and here's the Constitution. It's always the Constitution.
Yeah, I haven't gotten
Right.
that one, but
below the Constitution, is below my rights. Policy is below the law, is below the Constitution, is below my rights.
This is a private company,
she
so
doesn't
we
know
have
her
our
rights.
rules.
You're doing a public accommodation. So by those terms, as a public accommodation, you have to treat me the same as you deny like somebody that was coming in with a wheelchair. No, I have to have the same rights as a wheelchair person or a religious person.
We're just trying to protect you and the customers
Wheelchair
around.
person.
losing it. She's losing it.
A wheelchair person. That was probably my favorite line out of that.
Where do they get this shit? Like the law is below this, the Constitution's
Below- my
here,
rights are
and
below
like
the
I'm
Constitution.
here, and Doug's here, and we're supposed. Anyway, do you guys have another brew, or do we? I don't.
Chelsea, how
So
about
Chelsea,
you? Did you get to
I'm
your
happy you heard Chelsea. I'm happy you heard something new though on the show.
I did hear something new, but like that just reminds me of people were showing fake doctor notes saying that they didn't have to wear a mask and try getting away with it. So I had to call the military police and be like, "What do we do with this?"
Hey, why is this
Not
signed by
real
Dr. Dre? I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
Wow,
Like,
right.
if you Google it, you found the letter on Google, and you're like, "What?"
Wow. So they're Googling.
They're Googling a fake doctor letter to get away with not wearing a mask.
They're doing this with the vaccine too now. So
Yeah.
Here they are.
people-
Well, that's the next.
people-
Yeah.
People are Googling people. That's why I'm like, don't be putting your vaccine card out there. I mean, I guess there's many out there now, too much, but like, so people are like faking. Again, I don't know about people. Wouldn't it be easier just to go get the fucking vaccine? Like, wouldn't it be easier to get the vaccine than it would be to fucking fake it? I don't know.
Yeah.
You have a beer. I don't know what to do with these people.
I do. I was going to defer to Chelsea if she was ready for a second. If she's not, I'll go next.
I already did.
Ladies
the
first, of
second.
Course.
That was
Ladies
my
first.
second. Day drinking
Cool.
was my second, and I'm on it.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Cool.
All right,
What's
then I'll
going
go.
on,
to
Doug?
So my third is I like the can art from this as well.
I like it too. Coconut.
Yeah, so
Coconut.
I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. Kokachokamisu.
Oh, so it's going to be tiramisu and
So it's imperial stout with toasted coconut, Honduras coffee, chocolate, and Tahitian vanilla. 12% ABV.
Oh, yeah.
wow. People have been tricked by dollar bills with George W. Bush's face. So
That's a fair point.
Well, people are dumb.
I better be dead before George W. Bush gets on any of our currency. Jesus.
I'm not dead on that.
Right. Where are we at in this world? That man's on the currency. Sorry.
We're doomed. I love that glass, though.
Yes. But we're back to low
Black
bars
is-
of expectation, Chelsea. We're back to low bars of expectation. If that man could get on money, go on. And we don't have Harry Tubman on money yet. People,
Yeah.
sorry, Doug. I'm sorry. Shut up. Go,
That's
Doug.
quite all right. So
That was a
This is
valid
really-
rant.
Yeah. So I know this is 12%. This is really super smooth. The coconut is not overwhelming, which is good for me because I'm not really a coconut fan. I wanted to get more of the coffee and the vanilla, and that's what I'm getting more of. Although the coffee is more muted, the vanilla is actually more pronounced than the other stuff. This is a super good beer. It's really, I'm interested to see how it is when it warms up a little, to see how it opens up, but I'll let that sit and we'll see how it goes.
This one smells a little bit better now.
Sure.
Still,
Since you're on your third beer, maybe it does smell better.
Still fucking not it though. The smell. But again, they got what they wanted to, which is again like a beer about Karens needs to be a little bit off-putting.
Oh
if
yeah,
not a
like
lot.
Karen.
Right. So they nailed it. Ale Asylum again. And I'm pretty sure Ale Asylum, I don't know if you were here or not, but I'm pretty sure that they sponsored the Cougars at one point. Or maybe it was the Blaze. Right.
It was
I'm sorry.
Blaze.
Cougars came before the Blaze, and I always forget that. The Blaze is the latest edition.
First of all, the Cougars was a terrible name.
Yes, because that could have a whole lot of implications, unfortunately.
Madison Cougars as a female football team, like
that's horrible.
They messed up with that one.
I also was wondering if you thought Divas was like a bad name for a football team too.
Mm.
The only reason it works is because they're so good. I don't know.
Maybe that's
if they were trash. Maybe I would.
Hey, by the way, we're looking at a guy who has a Cleveland Browns shirt on. Browns, that's their team.
Hey, but Devo works for them, so I'm with
it. And they're not even brown or
support.
orange. It's a mess. It's a mess. Fucking mess.
You got the Baker Mayfield diva part. That's good.
We got
Divas. Yeah.
We got divas. It's fine though. But listen, we have a guy in charge of the divas. You have to have a strong personality and a plan to implement divas. Otherwise, it's going to be a train fucking wreck.
That was you. Right. You were the president of the Warrior Divas.
And it was a train fucking wreck.
That it was. Why you think I got put in at receiver last second?
Right.
Like Chelsea going.
Right. What? Right. Chelsea caught balls too. So in regulation. So whatever, man. We kicked your ass with a female. Now what, motherfuckers? Anyway.
Favorite though. Seeing the dudes like shit their pants when they were lined up against the girl. That was
yes. Speak any more? Yeah. Let's stay here for a little bit. Doug, you have any questions on that, or let's stay right here? Actually,
so I'm going to go a little different in that. Like, so they're in not so much when I'm in high school, but because that was in the fucking 80s and 90s, a long time ago. But you'll see now when women want to wrestle, and that's a big thing. Especially where I grew up in the middle of Pennsylvania, which is super rural. Like boys would be like, no, I'm not wrestling that person. They're a woman. No, I won't do that. And I find that super fucking insulting. Like that person wants to go and compete. Who gives a shit what their gender is? They're out there to compete. You should compete against them. You should try to kick their ass and they're going to try to kick your ass. That's how it works.
I mean, honestly, women playing or like women involved in wrestling is way more common, at least when I was growing up, compared to women playing football. I know a lot of women who did wrestling.
Yeah, bear in mind, I'm almost 50. I'm a little older than you.
No, but I mean, I know, but like the wrestling was definitely accepted before the football, and that seems backwards, kind of.
Yeah.
Like you're really intimate with wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be more uncomfortable if I were to put myself in a male shoes. That would be more uncomfortable going up against a woman in wrestling than in football.
You would think, but like that's also a lot of puritanical bullshit. So.
Whose fault is that, though?
That's true. It is not the girl's fault.
And first of all, in football, they wear cups, so we should be able to play football. They can hide that shit.
Right. But that's also assuming that all the boys wrestling like women. So, like, This is where I don't know if you guys saw. This is kind of a tangent, but Steve Harvey. First of all, I don't like Steve Harvey.
No,
at all.
I don't like that man
1 ounce. Okay, so I want to let that be known. But Steve Harvey, somebody recircled some of his comments, which are like, women and men can't be friends, and it just opened up so many. Like, I'm a guy who asks questions, and I have just so many questions. So then, what if a guy's gay or bi? Like, so I can't be friends with. I'm bi and gay. I can't be friends with Doug because I'm gonna want to jump on him, right? Like, where does this like caveman mentality still kind of like? I don't. And then it also assumes that like all women are like, I'm just this wonderful, sweaty, masculine guy that all women are just gonna like throw themselves at. So of course I could never be friends because the machismo that comes off of me just
I want the man
radiates, right? So like all men and women, like isn't that where this kind of shit leads you to, or am I wrong, Chelsea?
You're not wrong. I mean, it kind of like makes me think about when I started playing football, everyone just assumed that I was a lesbian because you're like
I remember this. I remember this.
I used to get so mad.
I remember this.
It doesn't bother me as much anymore, but I used to get so mad.
Chelsea, let's talk about it though. There were lesbians on your football team.
Majority lesbians on my football team, and the biggest problem I had was that they would like cater to the lesbian or the LGBTQ community instead of doing like events at regular places. They would always go.
So they kind of.
So I was always associated with like this was a like a lesbian football team.
Right. You guys did, yeah.
Like
okay, I remember
the
this.
token straight girl. Yeah, it wasn't.
Look at that.
Yeah, it was not a fun time.
Well, I know that's how the WNBA is marketed. They market towards LGBT.
Like,
yeah, I get it, but they're also for the WNBA level at least. They're trying to get as much money in as they can. So they figure they're
like they shouldn't be accepting of it, but it shouldn't be assumed that you're categorized with that. Like, first of all, who cares who you like off the field? We're here to play a sport. I'm here to kick some butt on a football field. Who cares what I like at the end of the day?
Right.
Amen to that.
Right. And you can't. I guess you could be friends with all the lesbian ladies. Like, I'm still hooked up. I need to move on. I don't know. It's Steve Harvey, and I just be like,
I have a lot of thoughts.
He's an idiot. So like,
we'll be here for another 40 fucking minutes on that motherfucker. So.
Oh my god! Like, it's funny because his stupid ass show, what is it? Family Feud comes on, and I just like I can't do it. And my kids are like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. They're teenagers, so I tell them, I'm like, this dude is just not. He's just not. You know what I mean? We talk about it, but like, it's almost one of those things where you have to like almost experience it in order for you to feel. You know what I mean? They almost have to like hear Steve Harvey say this shit before they're like, "What the fuck is this dude talking about?" Right? Like,
they'll figure it out.
Right. And it just pains me because not that I want to support every black person, but every black person that's in that's a prominent area and all that, I kind of want to root for it. But when you come out and say some fucking crazy ass, dumb, loony ass shit. That's when I cut bait and I'm moving on with my life.
And then you got a lot of idiots like Steve Harvey said this, and they run with it.
Yeah, right. It's really bad in politics. It's really heinous in politics.
That was the
Omarosa said, "Fuck Omarosa."
Yeah.
Fuck her. And right, go on.
That.
Doug, I see you got something coming here.
Yeah, well, I have two things. First, Omarosa, I stood about 5 feet away from her at a Jaguars game. She's like 5'3". She is super short.
Wow.
Yeah, she
comes off
when you see her, she seems like this fucking goddess, like super tall. And she is just 5'3", like little tiny thing. So But anyway, and I had to refrain from going to talk to her because that was after she got booted out of Trump's office. So I really had to refrain from saying anything to her.
That would have been fun. But even he made me feel like,
I got something for you.
I love that hat.
Oh, I love it. It needs to go here. Right.
Oh, shoot.
Put that one up again.
Yes.
Yes.
Made you look. Right.
The second thing I want to talk about was JHG posted a comment about who cares what you do off the court, right? So here's the funny thing about that is like they say stick to sports. Don't put your politics and all that shit in sports. But as soon as someone that's a sports personality comes out as gay or trans or bi or something like that, they are all in their shit.
Yes.
They're like,
wants to take a knee.
Yeah, like what does that? How does it affect you? It doesn't affect you one fucking iota. Shut up. Like, and the other thing is like, if you're an athlete, you're a famous athlete. Why can't you say what the hell you think about politics? Like, you're a citizen. You vote. You have a say. Like, I don't know. It same thing when they bitch about celebrities and then they show John fucking Boyd or Clint Eastwood fucking coming out and trotting out their old white asses talking about conservative shit. Fuck those guys. Like,
right.
You know, my favorite thing with that is like when people take a knee. My favorite argument: Army football does not go on the field for the national anthem, except for like Army Navy games. Like big games like that. Otherwise, they're in the locker room screaming their heads off in the middle of the national anthem. These are the people that are the Army.
Yeah.
Right.
So how are you going to have a problem with it?
Because you want to.
Because you want to.
Right.
Like, we got bigger issues than somebody taking a knee at a sporting event.
Right. And we also have bigger issues than LeBron James's Twitter, which again, people, lose their damn minds. Or off of, I don't know what was it 2 weeks ago where he put like to the guy who shot that young lady who she had a knife or something, and the cop just came in just guns a blazing. It's not even there's no hesitancy. It's out the car and well, she had a knife. Well, do you guys remember? I'm not even trying to go on a tangent. I'm not even trying to go on a tangent. Right. But do you remember the first police report about George Floyd and how that sounded compared to how the video looked? So people, you need to like, right. But this guy's coming up and then LeBron's like, well, you're next, dude. And next meaning you're next to face a jury to get convicted to, go to jail. We're coming after you next. The right made it like we're literally coming after him like with guns and shit, which again really doesn't happen because these guys always get off and they always get back to work. Yeah, everything's fine then. Right. But the right wing made it like all this big thing. And again, this is just about LeBron, talking out. And, again, I already said it. I think more need to. And LeBron, again, whether you say what you want about his basketball, how he left Cleveland, how he plays basketball, whether he's better than Jordan or not, he's a fantastic human being, in my opinion, just because he speaks out on these issues. And he literally puts his money where his mouth is. Yes, he's rich and he's all this kind of money, but he loses money because he speaks out. And this is the way it is. Colin Kaepernick lost money because he spoke out. So, or he didn't even speak. He just put a knee down and people lost their damn minds. Anyway.
Insane.
Yeah, well, we're not here for it, damn it. But I am here for mercy. My last beer of the night. We're back to Ale Asylum. I had a nice little dump off tonight. Got a little curbside tonight. 10.5 point alcohol. And this is a Belgian Quad, bro.
A Quad, very nice.
Yes,
also, I love the demonic looking thing on the front.
Oh, that one smells better than Karen, huh?
Yeah.
Definitely better than Karen.
That's kind of a universal, I think. It smelled.
This is everything you want to smell out of a a Belgian Quad. They're like sweetness, malts. You can see it. Ooh, malty as hell. Not a little bit of alcohol. Malty and sweet cracker. Not again for 10 point, not alcoholic for 10.5. I mean, you can drink a lot of this fast and be in a lot of trouble, Chels.
That's my kind of beer. That's my kind of beer.
Right. Sure. Sitting out on the patio at the Ale Asylum. Oh, I can't wait.
I miss those days.
I know, and so we're gonna, it's soon that summer's gonna be happening, and I just think that it's gonna be a safe time for all of us to get out. Doug, we might as well just address this now, and we get to all talk about it. So Doug asked me in pre-production or earlier today if I'm going to the Barrel and Flow. Barrel and Flow. Chelsea, Barrel and Flow. It's the old Fresh Fest Beer Fest. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Fresh Fest Beer Fest was the first Black brewery festival where it primarily promoted Black brewers and Black people of influence in the beer industry. And then they put them together and made these wonderful collab beers that were only available at this event. It's in Pittsburgh. If you could ever make it, you would have a good time because it's more like a community festival with just a whole bunch of different, nice beers, good food, good people, good vibes. It's just fan-fucking-tastic. Now it's an outdoor. I'd definitely
go if I could.
We'll send it to you because if you can't do it this year, it comes around every year. The only year we didn't do it was COVID, and we did the virtual thing and all that. Doug asked me. We met so many great people through this too, and Doug met some people even during the virtual one. Long story short, Doug asked me earlier today whether I was going, and I gave him an affirmative no, and that's just because I'm afraid to commit to almost anything past really tomorrow. I'm just afraid because I just don't. Right, I am wary of people doing the right thing and getting the vaccine or staying apart so that shit like this could be available to us in September when the event is. So that's why I told Doug, I would love to be yes, I'm going and I can't wait. I don't want to do that to my own psyche. So I'm going to wait until at least, I told Doug I'll probably be late to say I'm going to go because I need to see this shit continue to come down. And we're almost at that point with the vaccines where we're at that flex point where, and I know around here too, you can just walk up now here, almost anywhere and really pick which one you want out of all three of them. So we're at that point, at least here, where the vaccine is just so available that we're at the point to where it's time for the people who say that they don't want to or not. We're going to see it right now or really, really soon how much resistance we're going to get on that. And then that'll reflect, in my opinion, how close we are to being back, having kids in school and all that shit. So and that's, the Barrel Fest is in September. So I still think I have time to be no, I'm not going, but then change my mind. So that's where I'm at, Doug.
That's awesome though. Because the new talk of the bar though, because I didn't really go out to Cape Cod, but the amount of times that I had the conversation of are you vaccinated? Oh, which one? And then they're oh, you got that one. So you're grouping with the vaccines. I got Pfizer, but she got Moderna. So we're oh, it's a good bar talk. So it's something you have to look forward to.
I heard that there are people literally making songs.
I'm not surprised. It's a gang, Pfizer gang.
They're making Pfizer songs, Moderna songs, J&J songs, and then they're competing. I heard they're competing on TikTok.
I'm not surprised. Hey, as long as they're getting it, make your songs.
Right. And I don't know if you guys saw the governor of West Virginia, which I have a love-hate relationship with this man. I really do. The love part is that his COVID response has been on point. They're giving out to 16 and over or 16 to 25 or something, $100 government bond if you get a vaccine.
Nice.
So there, I think at some point we're gonna have to pay people. I don't really care. And then, well, what about me? I got one and I didn't get paid.
To go get vaccinated, fucking do it. Let's do that. And then let's send a shit ton of vaccines to India so we can squash that.
But then you're gonna have the white explanation, which is I got my vaccine and didn't get $100. Bitch, can you just can we? I've already seen it. Like,
can we also acknowledge that a lot of people who are not getting the vaccine purposefully are probably white?
Yeah,
absolutely. White Trump supporters.
Right. And they don't have a legitimate reason like people of color who have been fucked around and literally killed over your vaccines and you guys using us for experiments and all that shit. That's a legitimate reason not to want a vaccine. But you can see that
my favorite is that they get other vaccines and like pretend like this is different. Like,
oh well, that too.
First of all, you got a whole bunch of people trying to get vaccines fast, and they made it happen how it should happen.
Right.
It should take this amount of time. It shouldn't take 10 years for a vaccine. The vaccine you just gave your kid when it turned, I don't even know the vaccine ages, but people are getting vaccines for their kids or like when they were born, and they won't do this one. It doesn't make sense.
Right. Totally. So yeah, I don't know. While I'm hopeful for the fall, I'm still very, very reluctant to go there. Hopefully we can still get this under wraps and we can start shaming people into doing it. And I think, shaming is an old school kind of, we stopped shaming people, and I think we need to go back, especially on shit like this. Like, this is not a, again, Doug doesn't like avocados, and I almost disowned him as a friend before because of that.
I knew you were going to segue into this.
I gotten past that, and it's all good. Chelsea, we had somebody on this goddamn stream that didn't like gravy. Like, I almost wanted to just cut her the fuck off.
Who?
Like,
doesn't like gravy.
Right. Our friend Ashley doesn't like gravy. She's pretty bold about it too. And we're like, how do you even live life? I can't even. And then Chelsea too. Where Doug and I almost really broke up was what almost it was close.
It was close.
It was. Is that Doug refuses to wear a top sheet. I'm sorry, he refuses to wear a top sheet, but he also refuses to use one on his bed. So you have.
I'm with him. I'm with him.
You're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Chelsea.
So what do you do with your top sheet then?
It's just
what do you do? What do you do with the top sheet? You just throw it out? So what do you do with it? Put it in the closet?
Yeah.
I told you used them for when you're painting, so you don't get paint on your floor. They're drop cloth.
Crafting. Okay. It's used for crafting.
You can make capes with them.
So when they make bread, right? See, JSG is right.
Yeah, well, he likes Brady, so he can fucking pound sand.
We're not even talking about that. We're not talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about.
Please don't talk about Tom Brady.
Chelsea, you were recently on the road. Okay, so you were not in your bed that you normally sleep in. So when you're on the road, do you use a top sheet?
I don't like talking about that. No, I didn't. I kicked it off.
Now, Doug uses one on the road because
that is the only. If I'm in a hotel, that is the only time I use a top sheet.
Yeah, because you don't want the comforter to touch you. I
agree.
Right. I bring my own blanket.
See, that's genius. I bow to you, Ash. I bow to you, Chelsea. That was fucking genius. I am jealous of that idea.
Screw your top
sheet. Back to the gravy. Back to the gravy.
Back to the gravy. You don't have a response to that one, Greg.
No. Chelsea, this all started because I showed up at Doug's house and he had a wonderful. He had a wonderful place for me to stay. It was great, but I just was thrown off because he didn't have a top sheet. So then, and it was funny though because I wasn't a top sheet person only before like a couple months before I went to Doug's house, and that's because the lady got me these flannel ones where like it's almost like thick enough that it's like it's thick enough that it's not like a comforter. but I don't. But it's not. You know what I mean? So then I got used to that, and I liked it. I don't even use a regular comforter at all year round now because of that. So I liked it. So I was getting used to it, and I get to Doug's house, and we didn't have one. So again, normally it wouldn't be a problem, but then we got to Washington, and then we just started talking, and I just thought about it. I'm like, Doug didn't have a top sheet. Why do I care about this? And then so then I don't know if you saw it. I put it on my status on Facebook. What is it like? People don't. Yeah, this was it's almost 2 years ago now, or 1 year. Right, Doug?
February of not this year, but last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sure. Doug and I are in the room at one of these conferences, and I'm just like, I just put it on my Facebook page. I'm like, who doesn't use a top sheet? I don't even know what the hell this is. And like I got like 100 comments in like 2 minutes or something about this top sheet, and people were just going crazy about it. We're like, what? So then we try to ask many of our guests, and it's funny that people always have an opinion.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, screw your top sheet.
So
Greg, you know what that means, Greg? That means you need to take a top sheet with you everywhere you go.
No, I don't.
That sounds inconvenient.
Why is the onus on us?
What?
Huh? Why is the onus on me to have your top sheet? Why you got to make me responsible for your happiness?
Oh,
that's
Lord.
some extra BS.
You know what? I've never done this before, but you know what? I can do this show on my own. Fuck them. Like, why do I have to listen to this shit? but Doug, you're right though. Like, if I want my top sheet, I pretty much need to. Like, I could never do it at a hotel. Like I don't even want to touch that comforter. Like, I almost want to. What about if even at a good place, even at a really like high end? We stayed at high end places, Doug.
Yeah. What if you took your own? What if you ever took your own top sheet to the hotel though? Then you could take that shit right off. You don't even have to fucking touch it and just put your stupid top sheet on.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't really care that much. We just argue about it. It's really
but it was a sore topic when we brought it up. So we have one of the people in the room was like, I used to work at a hotel and they never washed a comforter, so I'm never ever letting that.
I've heard that, and that is exactly why I bring my own blanket.
Even at high end places, even at high end places, it's
they don't pay their custodians enough money to be caring about their
that's true
comforters.
I think only like a bread and breakfast would be like safe if you think about it.
But that's where I stayed in Cape Cod, and I still brought my own blanket. Nah, bed and breakfast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, the bed and breakfast usually you'll see a top sheet, you'll see a blanket and a quilt. They'll have like 15 different layers that you can.
Duvet.
Yeah, I don't want any of it.
A duvet? Do we do that?
Do that?
Yeah, they do that. I still don't want it though.
Tiff wants to know why we are still having this discussion because
it's controversial and fun,
and it's fun, and we haven't had it with Chelsea.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I got a random question for you. I got a random question for you.
Yeah,
Cape Cod. I'm mind blown. Did you know there's a such thing as oyster farms?
Yes,
I didn't know that. Wisconsin screwed me over. I didn't know there was a such thing as an oyster farm. So here I went to Cape Cod, met an oyster farmer that works on an oyster farm. Who knew? Have you had oysters before? I didn't yet. It's a whole conversation. I got scolded already. It's fine.
Doug?
I do not like oysters. They're like snot.
That's the texture, right? The texture.
It's the texture.
That's what I'm afraid
of. I will tell you, Jill loves them. She's just like, they're great. Sucks them. And I'm like, that's great. And I'm like, it reminds me of snot with the texture.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's why I haven't tried it. But I feel like it's either one extreme or the other. You either love them or you hate them.
Yeah, usually like the people will put like sauce and stuff on them for that. So maybe that helps. Yeah. At some point I gotta try it. At some point I gotta try it. It's just more one of those things where like it's just the texture looks terrible.
All I know is the oyster farm just really threw me off. There's a whole farm in the ocean.
the
Well, it's
lady
not
of
like a farm, like you have cows. It's like they just here's my section of the beach that I farm. And
Yeah,
they
but
just
like
do
they go like out there at low tide and do their thing, and then the tide comes back up. Like that's fascinating. I'm intrigued, and I felt really dumb in Cape Cod, like an oyster farm. I thought there was only cow farms.
Yeah, they probably have no idea what cheese curds are. So don't feel
They
bad.
don't.
Just literally.
They don't. They sure don't.
Mm,
I will say one of the cooler things was when Joel and I were in Scotland and Ireland. In Ireland, we were in this one part, and the tide would go really far out on this one town we were in, and you would just see all these guys going out and just harvesting oysters and clams and stuff. They would just be out there in their little fucking
I
waiter
had
boots
no
and just
idea.
drinking that shit up. And I was like, that's really cool.
They
You have
don't
to be
teach you
clean
that in
well.
school.
Yes, that is true because that will not make your day happy, from what I hear.
Ooh.
what oysters with sand and grit?
Yeah, that sounds all bad.
They'll probably clean your teeth really well.
Ugh.
Sandblasting your teeth.
Oh, no.
So the lady of this house had oysters, like oven smoked oysters in New Orleans or something like that. And she says they were one of the best food she's ever had. And like to me, like I mean, that would be great to have that dish, but it almost will like ruin it because you almost could never replicate that unless you go back to New Orleans. You know what I mean? Because this shit's not happening in Wisconsin, Chelsea. You already know. Like
What the fuck is
oysters
the
like that are
oyster?
just not.
Oyster?
Yeah, like no. Like seafood isn't prominent like out here. You went to Cape Cod, which I'm sure is fantastic for
I
seafood.
didn't try it.
And Doug went to Maine last year, which is fantastic. Or Doug goes to Maine every year, I believe. And they have
not this year. We're not. We're going.
But you know what I mean. You go every year.
Usually,
I've never
scratch the
never
COVID
had,
bullshit.
I've never had oysters. I've never had lobster. I haven't had.
Oh, the East Coast, Chelsea
I'm a true
is
Wisconsin.
yeah, and the East Coast is banging for seafood.
I know.
I mean,
and I already got scolded for not trying it when I was there.
Yeah, you can't compare it. Yeah, it's almost the same scolding. Like if Doug would come out here and I wouldn't like give him all the cheese or show him all the wonderful cheese that we have here. Spotted cow. You know what I mean? Like our Wisconsin things, like back east, their things are like oysters, seafood, lobster. I'm sure the lobster's just
if you go to Maine, the lobster, you can go to places and you're like, now you're paying for a whole lobster and it's not cheap. It's,
yeah, but do you know what it takes to get that lobster? That's why it's not cheap.
And they go and they bring it in and they boil that shit right. It's a live lobster. They throw it in and in 20 minutes or whatever. It's a lobster that's fresh. And they give that to you. And I'm going to tell you, we did that for our kids. And a couple of our kids were like, I'm not sure what to do with this. So we had to kind of teach them how to crack all the stuff. And for me, I'm not a huge seafood person, but like it was fresh. It was really good. But man, lobster in Maine that's an experience. And what I'm surprised that I will tell you that if you go back to Cape Cod,
I'm going back.
Get clam chowder. I swear to you, clam chowder there tastes awesome. You get it anywhere else, it tastes like shit.
So here's the thing. I had this whole list of all the things I needed to do. Clam chowder was on it. Didn't do it. So I have to go back. My new oyster farmer friend is making me go back to try oysters and all of that. So yeah, I'll be back.
How far is it?
Yeah,
how far is it from where you're from?
It was like 4.5 hours if you're not hungover.
Not too.
It took me like double that on the way home, but we won't talk about that.
Fried clams are fantastic.
I didn't have fried clams when I was there, but I'm telling you,
how do you fry a clam?
Take it out,
keep them out, and then you bread them and fry them.
I got so many questions. I don't know anything about.
Then you
seafood.
dip them in that sauce. Oh,
that little.
It's all about sauce, though.
That's true.
You gotta have sauce.
But what's funny is like we went to. You mentioned Warwick, New York, and that kind of threw me off because the place I had clam chowder was Warwick, Rhode Island.
Huh.
And but I went and I was going with a buddy of mine whose birthday was actually today, and it was his bachelor party, and we drove up there. And I tell you, you said about driving hungover. The night before was his bachelor party, and I don't. We went to work. I swear to you, we just stuck our heads on our desk like this for like 4 hours. We were just. I'm not one who gets hungover, so like this was like I was really fucking hungover. So then after work, we get in the car, we drive to work, and he goes, "I'm going to take you to get some clam chowder." I'm like, "I don't really like clam chowder." He goes, "You'll like this." So we go on the beach, literally the beach. There's this little shack on the beach in Warwick, and it was like $3 for a thing of clam chowder, and it was freaking delicious. It's like a bisque, like it's real thick like that. Oh man, so
I've
good.
also never had clam chowder in my life.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Oh yeah,
So if you go
I'm going back.
So Warwick is. Can you scroll into that a little bit more, Greg, so I could see exactly where it is?
It's like 2 minutes away from Jersey. Looks like.
Yeah, pretty close.
You're talking about Warwick, Rhode Island, or New York?
No, that's Warwick, New York. So that's where you had your one thing from.
Dock Cider.
Right. Wow. And also while we're here, Manhattan clam chowder is trash. Thank you.
Huh.
Agreed.
I wouldn't know.
That red sauce shit. That's
no.
Just, it's like watered down pizza sauce with clams.
There's nothing to the clams. It brings nothing of the clam flavor out.
What about pizza though? New York pizza, because I still don't understand the hype. What is it with New York pizza?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about that. What is your?
I don't understand it.
Well, wait. So New York. So let's all kind of come to an understanding about what New York pizza is. It's thin and foldable, right?
That is exactly right.
So
it's thin enough. You have a thicker outside crust. It's not thin crust.
Right.
But it's thinner in the middle, and you're able to fold it in half. That's the way that New York style pizzas.
Neapolitan, right? Neapolitan. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. No. I'm talking round. There's Neapolitan, which if you're in Little Italy and New York City, then yeah, you can get Neapolitan. I'm not a fan of that. I like the round where you can fold it in half and you got the point and all that.
Wait, the foldable shit's not Neapolitan?
No, the Neapolitan is like, well, Neapolitan is a style, but like if you get the square pizza, that stuff is thick. Their crust on
that's different.
That ain't Neapolitan though.
Okay, well, all right. So maybe I'm wrong.
Chelsea, we get into the weeds with food here. We don't fuck around.
Yeah,
I know. That's why I brought it up, because I still, to this day, I've lived here for 4 years and I do not understand the hype behind New York pizza.
All right, so I'm going to give you one that's from where I am. It's chicken speedy pizza. That shit is awesome.
What is it?
Oh, okay.
Chicken speedy pizza, which chicken speedy is a Binghamton thing. So it's like this spice chicken that's marinated in spices and oil, and it's fucking delicious.
You seem bothered, Greg.
I thought Doug was going to talk about the pizza that they put American cheese on.
Oh no! That's a Scranton thing. That's Old Forge pizza. That shit is disgusting.
It sounds disgusting.
So they make this pizza, and it's almost always square.
What's it called?
It's a boatload of sauce. It's Old Forge style pizza, and it is. Then they put American cheese on it. So the cheese is just it's not good melty. It just looks like plastic that melted on the pizza.
I'm picturing Kraft singles on pizza.
That kind of cheese. Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's the grossest thing. And people down there fucking love it. And I was like,
that's so weird.
I'm like, that is disgusting.
Oh
no.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on that one.
No, I'm not even gonna show this shit. It's awful.
Yeah, it looks bad.
No.
Right.
It sounds bad.
Pizza and bagels are the two things New York does best, Chelsea.
I get made fun of for how I say that word.
What word?
Bagels.
Hey, I've heard people say bagels. I've heard all kinds.
I literally was in Cape Cod and I was like, I can't order a bagel because of the way I say it, and I know they're gonna be like, "Wow, what?" And just recently, actually for my 30th birthday, my employee bought me the game called Beagle or Bagel because they're obsessed with the way I say it.
Say bagel.
Yeah, my kids always try to get me to say the word horror because that's how I pronounce it instead of horror. Instead of like horror movies, I say horror, And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Horror.
So before we wrap up here, Chelsea, one question I wanted to kind of circle back around to you is, so are you still playing? Are you retired?
Well, you know how COVID ruins everyone's life. COVID
Right.
also ruined football. So
Right. I was going to say, when was the last time you played?
So we won the national and international championship in 2018. And then 2019, I had some work conflicts where work took priority. So I played a couple games here and there, but wasn't a full season. So I really, truly haven't played a full season since 2018 because of COVID. So we had last season canceled, and then this season is actually happening, but there were teams within the league that chose to opt out, which was New York. They chose to opt out because our league is forcing us to wear masks, and then you obviously have to follow state guidelines. But I mean, I just playing football with a mask on, I don't know. I can't breathe in a regular helmet. That's intense. It can't be safe, healthy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing is with football, it's like, there's no social distancing in that.
No, you can't. I mean, like Army football has played throughout the pandemic. They kind of like secluded themselves and were able to do that, but you're just not able to do that type of like bubble within women's football because we all have 9 to 5 jobs, but I mean, I respect the team's decision, and there's a lot of teams out here that have also done that because, I mean, even New York State, the regulations, we can't even get a field because you can't have groups larger than like 25 or something. I don't know what it is at this point, but so then it varies state to state, but we travel to all other states to play people. So it depends on where you go. And so it was just too much so I'm not actively playing, but I anticipate on playing once it's safe.
You're not retired? That's the answer? You're not retired?
Oh, I'm coming back.
All right.
Don't call it a comeback.
You heard it here
She's
first.
been here for years. Right. I haven't heard LL for a while, man. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm gonna play some of that this weekend. Chelsea, anything else? We don't want to hold you any longer. Anything else you want to get out, talk about? I think we covered all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I almost want to have you back soon for when we get the final on Aaron Rodgers.
Of course. You just had to like jab me with that one.
Sorry.
He's going to stay. He's not going to go anywhere.
Oh, he's going somewhere. He's pulling a Brett Favre.
Well, let's hope he doesn't pull a Brett Favre with like texting, because that would be bad.
Ooh,
he
might.
And hopefully we don't pull a Brett Favre with the massage person either. Or hopefully we don't pull a Favre politically because he's an idiot there. Hopefully we don't pull a Brett Favre with the Vicodin. Hopefully we don't. I'm sorry.
No. I don't know.
Sorry.
Aaron Rodgers did learn from Brett Favre, so I do see a pattern.
Well,
I think Rodgers is a wee bit smarter than Favre, though.
The Browns are picking right now, y'all.
But it all circles back to the ego. The ego definitely ruins the smarts.
I'm sorry, I'm watching my Browns pick. You guys can talk.
They're trash, anyways.
They're gonna fuck it up.
The only person they have going for them is Callie.
What?
Callie on their staff. That's it. That's all they got going.
What? What? Who do we pick? I'm leaving. You guys talk. Bye.
He doesn't like critiques, apparently.
Apparently. So, he wants to jab at me and then can't take it.
That's pretty much how it works. Ego. Remember? Ego.
There we go. Yeah, you better wipe those eyes. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had some in my eyes.
I'm sorry. I forgot you were over here, Diva. Hey, Diva.
It was losing. Hey, Diva.
A wide receiver. Doug.
Well, that's because OBJ will play like 4 games and then have some sort of hamstring tweak. So. Because that's how he is.
Is that your sassy OBJ comment of the stream, Doug?
No, because Greg, am I wrong? He's a super talented guy. He gets injured all the fucking time.
Listen, whether you're right or wrong doesn't mean you need to say that shit.
Greg, your inner warrior
right.
is coming. Your inner warrior diva is coming out. That's all I gotta say.
I just
Correct.
don't want to hear anything from Doug, the Jacksonville Jaguar fan. I just don't want to hear it. So.
Hey,
Well,
I need
I'll
other
tell
people
you.
to share my misery.
We're here. Well, soon Chelsea can join you because soon they're
No.
going to have Jordan Love as a quarterback.
No.
Hey, I hear Blake Bortles or Blaine Gabbert is available. You could probably
Your boy,
former Jags quarterbacks.
her boy's off to Jeopardy at 4:30 on CBS.
Everybody, the return of match game with Aaron Rodgers.
For the record, LeVar Burton needs to be given that job soon. Thank you. But that's another story for another time, I guess.
Yep.
Chelsea, do you have anything to say here?
Before we
No,
sign
you
off.
put me on the spot. I got nothing on that one. You killed me with the Rodgers. I'm out.
Yeah. Hey, Chelsea, thanks for joining us. This was fun. Like I said, this is a world we don't really know much about, and I'm super happy that Greg was able to get you in here because, yeah, I learned a whole shit ton, and it's been great. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you have Jules on here.
Yes. I'm still talking to Jules about some time. Jules Harshbarger is
Better make it work.
Yes, she's the first. She's the first person to play indoor Chicago. First woman to play indoor Chicago ball. Doug, and we met her through the whole semi-pro thing. She's amazing, fun. Hopefully, we can schedule her. And then Chelsea, we need to get you back kind of next year because we need to get you during play when you're playing. We need to get all those details. We need to find out what the hell's going on, and I want to know what's going on. So maybe early next year. In the springtime next year, and you are more than welcome to hang out and have drinks with Doug and I in a minute here. But if not, thank you for being on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Cheers.
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 Doug, we have the best guests, and that's because we're the best.
Yeah, we get some good guests, dude. That was something you booked, and I was like, holy shit, like, this is awesome. I never would have thought to book someone like this. That's the thing is, like, you and I book different people. You are way better at it than I am, but I just love the different variety of guests that we get.
Yes, sir. And that was fun. I have 4 Alessandro beers, and they all brought different things. So we're just gonna start. These 2 are kind of really a lot the same. Birrio and Dementia. Yeah, these are probably the 2 I would send you, Doug, because they're non-offensive. They're non-offensive IPAs. This one, actually, you're probably gonna get sent this one too, the Karen one. I just want you to smell it and drink it.
I'm afraid to smell it.
The smell, it's just so off-putting. And then Mercy was the big
quad.
Big quad. I got it. It was really warm. I really would like to try it crisp and then have it warm up. The way we had it here, I had it in my bag here. So I put my beers in here for the stream, and some of them warm up. Even though this is supposed to be, they warm up. So by the time I got to Mercy, she was really warm. So I have 5 more. Send you one. Give some away. I still have a couple, but yeah, it was pretty good though. And a quad is not something you see a lot. So when you see a quad, you grab that shit, don't you, Doug?
Amen to that. Like if I see quads, unless there's one I won't do, which is Boulevard, but that because they have a lot of issues. But that's a different beast. But yeah, I love quads. I'm a big Belgian fan, so like I'll grab almost anything that's Belgian style. So, all right,
what you got?
So I started with this. This is the Schwartz beer. It was okay. It was okay. Not bad. Marvelous. The second one that I had was this fucking wicked cool can art, which was a double dry hop, double IPA. It was a New England style. It was good for the style. Just it's not something that I would gravitate towards because it's not really what I would normally drink. But I wanted to try it because one, it had cool can art, and I want to kind of expand things. The winner for me was the Kokachokamisu, whatever the fuck it's called. This thing was super good. I mean, it's. I was worried that there would be too much coconut in it, and the coconut is like kind of just a smooth little piece to it. it actually, as it warmed up, it got smoother. Which is
Was
good.
it like a coconut tiramisu?
I always think that usually when you get a higher ABV beer, that like as it warms up, you get more of the booze.
Yeah.
Not like this. It's just still stays smooth. Like I said, the vanilla is really more pronounced than either the coffee or the coconut, which I thought was interesting because vanilla is a good flavor, but usually coffee and coconut are way more dominant flavors. But this was really, 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 really good. So.
Was it like a coconut tiramisu?
I wouldn't say that. I thought because the coffee wasn't super prevalent, like I said, it was way more on the vanilla end for me. So,
gotcha. Next week we're talking beer and coffee with Carrie Jaworski.
Yeah, baby.
Lakefront Carrie.
Lakefront Carrie.
For people who are Wisconsin based, you guys should know who Lakefront Carrie used to be if you're in the industry, and now he's Coffee Carrie. And Doug and I are coffee dudes for sure. So we're gonna. I'm interested to learn more about coffee and to kind of get into that range. So, on that note, Doug, you have yourself a great week, and we will see y'all people next week. Same time.